what's up?
What's poppin'?
Oh, yo, if you
I
don't
said
kick
kick it off
this
twice.
video,
I said
what?
kick it off.
This was your idea. You got to introduce the topic.
Oh, I do? I ain't hear that part.
Oh my gosh.
What's up, guys? My name is Mickey.
My
This is
name
the
is
Good and Terrible
Travis.
Show. Oh, I'm
This is the
sorry.
Good and Terrible Show.
We're not used to doing this because this is the Rona. This is what the Rona has brought us to. But we have
Coming to you live from Quarantine Central.
for one thing, somebody was too scared to come to my house and do this with
Hell
just
yeah.
2 people.
I don't know what you got.
I don't have the Rona. I'm fine.
Breathing on here.
I'm fine.
I've been listening to you for like a year.
We had the Rona for a year.
Yep.
I'd be deceased by now.
You
So
from Wuhan.
chill. Don't say that. Leave my Chinese brothers and sisters alone. So since we can't film together, if you guys like this episode like this, let us know. I've been watching a lot of YouTubers do the same thing. So I was like, hey, let's do a live recording. And Travis was like, I guess.
That's literally my reaction.
He didn't miss y'all like I missed y'all. So, I guess we could tell who loves who more. Who's the better parent?
They see me enough anyway.
Anyway, sorry, my phone was still over. So today we're going to talk about a topic of which I think is a funny topic, but also kind of a topic that people talk about often. Should women ask men to marry them, or should women propose to men as opposed to waiting for the man to propose? What do you think, Travis Brown?
You know what? I'm gonna go last. I'm gonna let the amateur hour get out the way first, and then I'm gonna clean it up. And then, nah, I'm cleaning it up. I'm back and clean up today. I normally go first.
No, you don't.
I feel like I do.
No, you definitely did not go first last couple episodes.
Most of the time, I feel like I go first.
I already know how I feel about it. I just wanted to hear your idea first so I could shoot at it while I was giving my personal response.
I'm gonna shoot at yours. It's gonna be like ESPN first.
See, that's why I wanted to go first, so I could be like, and this is why.
I'm gonna be Stephen A. Smith.
Oh my gosh. So I personally feel like a man should propose to a woman. I am what you would call old-fashioned. I feel like a man should ask a woman's hand in marriage. Now, with that being said, a couple, that plans on getting married should discuss if they want to get married. If they want to get married, if they see themselves getting married, because most of the time, most people have that conversation somewhere down the line, whether it's like a year or 6 months or whatever. But the person that should get down on one knee and have the ring and that whole shebang should be the man. And I think that because, to me personally, I feel like with men, y'all kind of know what y'all want when y'all want it. And for us, because we're a little bit more emotional sometimes, our feelings may be like, oh, I really want to marry him. But just because we want that doesn't necessarily mean he wants that. He might be there, but he may not be ready to ask that question. So if you ask a man and let's say he says, okay, let's do it. 5 years down the line, y'all still engaged? Yeah, probably wasn't good. He just did it because he said yes because you asked. Or if you do get married, you might get hit with well, I didn't want to get married, it was you. That's my thing. I'm like, no. If you want to marry me, you will ask me. When a man wants something, he goes for it. That's the type of man I want anyway. What do you think, Travis Brown?
Are you done? Are you finished or are you done?
I'm done finished.
All right. In the words of Stephen A. Smith, you're wrong and here's why. Okay? Because number one, the question wasn't should a man, propose to a woman, or should the man propose to the woman? It's should a woman be able to propose to the man? And the answer to that question is yes. Now, does it really matter to me? If the man wants to propose or the woman wants to propose? No, because it ain't my relationship. Me personally, I would like to do the proposing. But the question is, should a woman be able to propose to a man? And my answer to that question is yes, because everything that you just named is completely irrelevant, because you can flip-flop it to the other side of the equation. And what I mean by that is that conversation that y'all can have before you actually propose can still be had regardless of who's proposing. You can still have the discussion about where you guys stand in the relationship, and where you think you go from there, what the plans are, and you can make that transition. Whoever proposes to who is just a formality at that point, because if you've already had that discussion and if y'all have both determined that you're both ready to get married, then it's not a matter of, oh, I think I'm ready, but I want to see if he's ready, because you already had that discussion. So that's the problem that a lot of people have, is that people jump to answers without doing the background communicating. And if we're going off the scenario that you proposed, where they're having a conversation beforehand, then they already know you said yes and I said yes. So now it's just the formality at the end. A lot of times people now proposing without even getting on one knee. You don't even necessarily have to get on one knee. I've seen people proposing at dinner tables where they're sitting eye to eye from each other.
I want that knee.
You know what I'm saying?
Come to me and sit on no table.
All right. Well, if you want that knee, you better be on your knees. But anyway, but anyway, what I'm saying is, like people have proposed at sporting events. People have proposed at intimate dinners. People have proposed to each other face to face on a beach. I've seen people propose standing up, sitting down. All types of different type of propose. So all that stuff is just a formality. It's all really nice and it's all old fashioned and it paints the nice picture and everything, but it doesn't necessarily mean that that's right for you as the viewer. Like if you are a woman and you've been with your man 3, 4 years, 5 years, however long y'all been dating, doesn't matter. And you come to a point where you want to have a conversation with him about marriage, and both y'all come to the conclusion that y'all ready to kind of break off and start a family. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because y'all fought for 100 years, more than 100 years, for equal rights, equal treatment, all this stuff. Then at the same time, y'all want special treatment. It don't work like that. You can't have equal treatment and special treatment.
Sure it does.
It doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Because it's counterintuitive and it's contradictory. So you can't sit there and say, I want the same respect. I can do everything a man does. I want the same level of comparison to men across the board, and then you want men to do special treatment. Now,
that's not necessarily true.
It is necessarily true.
No, because I can't do everything a man can do. I don't believe that women can do everything a man can do. Now,
or maybe it's not to you then, but there are some women that do believe that.
Well, I personally don't. There's something, like, people may get mad about this, but I feel like children need both parents. They need a mother and a father.
Oh, absolutely.
But some people don't realize that when you don't have a father, or you don't have the mother as the other parent, that you're lacking something, and you are. Now, the other parent can try to make up for it as best they can, or uncle or cousin, can try to fill that void for you, but you need both parents.
You need the feminine influence and you need the masculine influence.
So I do not believe that men and women can. I don't believe that all our roles are interchangeable.
Right, and I agree with you there. But we're going off on a little bit of a tangent there. I mean, to that point right there, I completely agree with. I think that you need both, and neither is more important than the other. They're both very important. But remember, the question was should or could. It's not. Would you like the man or would you like the woman to do? It's should the woman be able to propose to a man? And that answer is yes, under the right conditions. So,
I guess that she should be able to if she chooses to.
That's the point.
Right, but I'm answering from a personal perspective that I don't think she should have to. That's how.
But it's not a matter of half, because it's not your relationship. It's a matter of one.
But if I'm discussing with you, okay, I want to get married, and you say, okay, yes, let's do it. We haven't set a date or anything. We're just hypothetically saying in the future we're going to get married. But the man isn't sure of when or where we're going to live. The details of it. Like, saying I want to get married to you, that's all fine and dandy. But until some solid stuff has been laid down, we don't know. So now in my head, I take it, well, he said he wants to get married.
Well, you don't set a date and all that stuff till after the proposal anyway.
I'm not talking about setting a date. I'm not talking about setting a wedding date. I'm talking about like how people will say, okay, I'm not ready right now because I don't have this job, or I don't have this income, or I'm not ready to really like do it now. Can we wait until, 6 months from now, a year from now, then I'll be ready to get a ring and propose. But if we haven't discussed all of that.
But that's the point. You already made it to be the comment at the beginning of your original statement is that this is all based on communication. At least going off of what you said, this is all based of a talk that they've had before they've even got to this point. So,
right, but the talk, I didn't say the talk detailed all that. I just said the talk of most people in relationships have a conversation of, do you see yourself marrying me, yes or no? And you'll get your answer, yes or no. Now, do you go into detail of when this is going to happen? Not all the time. That's what I'm saying. So if I'm the woman and I take this information and I go, well, he said he wants to marry me, but he never said when. He never said, any other details about it. And that's as far as it went. And I go buy your ring and you're like, oh, I didn't mean right now. Like,
but the exact same situation can happen on the flip side. You see women saying no to proposals to men all the time. So you acting like it's a sure shot deal no matter who's proposing. That's not the case. So that's the point.
No,
you have to have these type of conversations beforehand. See, to me, the biggest reason why I think some women have a problem with women proposing to men is because they themselves fear rejection. That's what it all boils down to, if you ask me. I think they're honestly scared because they think if they propose to the man, they're going to say no and they're going to look foolish. But the same thing could happen to a man. A man can propose to a woman and she could say no, and then all of a sudden he looks foolish. And it's not like, for me, I don't know. If I propose to a woman and she says no, especially if it was in like public, now maybe if it was just like us, it'd be different. But especially if it's in like public and a ton of people, or maybe not Yankee Stadium, but you know what I mean? Like somewhere, like for example, I watched the Facebook video of a guy in the middle of like a mall. There was like a fountain in the middle of a wall or something like that. Not a wall, a fountain in the middle of a mall, and he had like somebody that was like playing the violin or something like that. It's a mall, but it was still a nice little setting. You know what I'm saying? He had the fountain and the violin and all that stuff. Proposed to his woman right in the middle of the mall. She said no and walked away. I'm not staying in the relationship after that. I'm sorry. The relationship's over.
It's definitely over. I'm not going to ask you again. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's, to me, it makes no point. Now, again, from a personal perspective, we're talking about subjective versus objective here. From a subjective standpoint, I would like to be the one that does the proposing. But from an objective standpoint, to answer your question, to me, it doesn't really matter if the woman's proposing or if the man's proposing, because at the end of the day, it's whatever's going to work for them.
True. I think the communication part, like you said, plays a big role in like the timeline of when it will happen. But for me as a woman, it's not that I fear he's going to say no. It's my fear of we do it, we get married, and then he flips it. When stuff starts to go left or we have an argument, the first thing he's going to say, well, I didn't want to get married. That was you. You asked me. I didn't ask you. That's my thing. Like, you're not going to flip it on me like I'm the only person that wanted this.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my gosh, what?
If he agreed to marry you, he's not going to say... Again, that literally could happen on the whole other end.
Are you serious? Do you know how many men have done that? And been like, I didn't want to get married. You pressured me into it, or you asked me.
But exactly. But you just said, how many men have done that, which means because the women proposing to men is just a very recent thing. So what you're just saying, honestly, that's really only been happening within like the last decade, to be honest. Before then, you never saw women proposing to men.
You might not have seen it. We didn't have social media, but it definitely happened.
It happened, but not as much now. It was a very, very rare occasion.
Yeah, because men had sense. Because men had sense back in the day.
No, they didn't.
That's a whole different topic.
Listen, if men have sense, then women have less sense. I don't want to hear. But, no, I love your women.
We're smarter than you, sir.
You want to put an IQ test between me and you?
Yes.
Okay, I bet you I'll win that, hands down. But anyway, what we're gonna do?
Set the date.
Yeah, let's set it. What's up? Anytime.
Let's do it. Ain't nothing but an opportunity.
Go ahead. I had a 131 IQ in like 5th grade. I don't want to hear it. Anyways, this is off on another tangent. And by the way, tell Albert Einstein and Isaac Newton that women were smarter than them. But anyways, what I'm going to say is that at the end of the day, By the way, I'm just joking, women. I think you're super smart.
No, no, don't backtrack
I
now.
just think Mickey's dumb. That's all. But anyways,
Oh,
but
okay.
anyways, what we're gonna say
All
is
right. Okay.
even when a man proposes to a woman, the scenario that you're afraid of could still happen, because he could still be like, even though he's the one that proposed to the woman, he could still come back and say, yeah, but I only did it because you pressured me. So even if it's the man proposing or the woman proposing,
That's true.
and it could even happen on the flip side, there could be a woman that said, honestly, I wasn't ready to get married, but I just felt the pressure from my family or from you or whatever, the social pressures of just you know trying to get a woman married, because I know that's a real thing. A lot of women kind of feel the pressure that they have to get married,
Sometimes,
So
yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
that's all a moot point, right? It's all irrelevant as to who's proposing to who, because that flip could always happen.
I just don't want it flipped on me. That's my issue.
But see, we talking subjective again. Is this a subjective conversation, or are we talking about an objective conversation?
Both.
Bro.
No, I understand what you're saying. I do think that it can be flipped. Like you said, the woman could be like, well, you asked me in front of my family. I wasn't gonna say no. And then, like you said, down the line, she's like, I didn't really want to do this, and then he finds it out the back end. But like I said, I'm old fashioned in the sense of I want a man, don't take this the wrong way, I want a man's man that's not going to allow me to even think about getting down on one knee and proposing to him.
This brings up a good point, because I've always wanted this, because women like to throw that around, that term around, or women in this generation like to throw that term around kind of loosely too when they talk about being old fashioned, because I feel like a lot of times they only say it when it's convenient for them, because they talk about I want an old fashioned dude that will be the one to propose, that will bring me flowers on the first date, will open my door for me, and take the trash out and pump my gas and give me his coat, and all this stuff. But then on the flip side, they don't want to do the old fashioned women responsibilities. They want to be a modern woman with an old fashioned man, and it don't quite work like that. So like, you can't sit there and say, you want an old fashioned man. Again, this might not be directed at you, because I don't know if what your image is of your personal future marriage. But there's women that will talk about, I want an old fashioned man, but um, I would never want to be. I want to be. I want to make more money, than the guy, or I don't want to do the cooking. I want him to do the cooking, or something like that. Like they'll say certain things are a man's responsibility, but traditionally the same things that have been women's responsibility, they don't want to do that. I don't want to stay home and raise the kids, and stuff like that. Not saying, I'm not judging if you lean or one way or the other, women, but I'm just saying, don't be one of those women that's really contradictory when you say you want an old-fashioned man, but you don't want to be an old-fashioned woman. You either want a modern man and be a modern woman, or you want an old-fashioned man and be an old-fashioned woman. You can't be contradictory like that.
Or what if both parties compromise on certain things, like how you said about cooking? What if the man, he's still what you consider old-fashioned, but he's like, hey, babe, I prefer to cook. Can you clean? You know what I mean? Like, what if it's like that? Because couples have their own compromises, and
at the end of the day, yeah, that's what it should be about, compromising on every level. But I'm just saying, there are certain people out there that act like it's one way or the other. Now, I think in every single marriage, in every single relationship period, there should always be compromising whatever you deem to be the responsibilities. But you can't. But again, the compromising at the end of the day is still a modern thing, right? Because back then there wasn't a whole lot of compromising. Like, you cooked and you cleaned as the woman. You know what I'm saying?
And you raised the kids, and you
raised the kids, and you stayed at home, and you did the laundry.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what I'm saying. So if you want a marriage in the modern world, you can't sit there and try to bring all these old-fashioned aspects into a modern marriage without expecting for you yourself to be old-fashioned.
I think that's true. And then also, to add to that, like you said, if the man, to me, I don't feel like that's old-fashioned. Opening the door for a woman should be like, oh, that's old-fashioned. It's just being. I'm
just throwing examples.
No, I know you. I'm just saying something like, I don't open the door for her, and it's like, but that's what you're supposed to do. Like,
but see, there's the key word, and it's supposed. right? So who deems suppose is that's the
Jesus,
issue. You know what I'm
the
saying?
Bible,
Yeah, okay.
the Bible. Where my
Oh,
Bible?
okay.
My Bible over there.
Yeah, okay.
Jesus.
I don't think anywhere in the Bible. I've been reading the Bible. I don't think
It's
anywhere in the Bible it
it's
says
in it's in
anything about opening the
Galatians.
door.
It's
Oh,
Galatians
this is,
17,
oh,
verse
okay.
4.
All right. Okay.
I'll put
Whatever
it
you
in the
want to say.
comments.
All right.
No, I think that
Ridiculosity, chapter 14, verse 3, in Mick, in the Queen Mick version.
no, I think that the issue, like you said, you can't have it both sides where you're like, oh, I want an old fashioned man. And he's like, well, I want you to cook and clean. And you're like, wait a second, buddy. I
Exactly.
didn't say all of that. That I think is true because an old fashioned man may not want you to work. He may not want you to, like, well, not necessarily not work, but if he's the
There's
person,
been some. I've seen some men say that too to their women.
right. Now, I'm not going to say I wouldn't want to work, but I wouldn't want the choice taken away from me necessarily if I did. Like if I business, like working for someone, yes, but business wise, like if I still wanted to have this show in my other business, I'm not gonna be like, well, y'all just get rid of it. I'd be like, well, can we find another way? Because it's like you enjoy those things, but for the man's man, in my perspective, is the chivalrous man. And that's other. We could probably talk about that in another episode in more detail, like how men, how women will say the man should pay all the bills. I don't think that's right.
Please don't get us into that topic.
I'm just saying, I'm just addressing it for the future. Like that's a whole nother thing that I saw, and I'm just like, huh? So you don't have to pay anything, and we're not talking about a billionaire. We're talking about like a regular, like 9-to-5 guy that he's making ends meet.
Right. Yeah. We can definitely do another show on that one.
That's gonna get spicy. That's gonna be spicy.
I don't know if they're ready for that.
Because the women gonna be like, "Girl, shut up! You messing it up for us."
Basically, because they want to get by. but you said before we got off on this other tangent here, you said the key aspect there, and you didn't want the choice taken away from you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And nowadays in a modern relationship, in a modern marriage, everything is about choices because like I said, women have been fighting for years and centuries to reach the level that they are now, and they're doing big things. And there's a lot of women, especially in the Black community, there's a lot of women counterparts that are reaching more academic goals than their male counterparts, reaching more economic goals than their male counterparts, which is all awesome. I'm here for it. But at the same time, it's like you can't want to advance and be held back at the same time. So everything is about choices now, and everything's about compromise now. So with that set as the premise, your own words there, because you can't argue with it, because you just said you don't want the choice taken away from you. Who are you to take the choice away from another woman as to how she wants to go about arranging this marriage for herself, or how she plans to become engaged, become a fiance to her man? Right? If that's her choice, if she wants to propose, if she sees no problem proposing, and they've had the conversation about whether they're ready to get married or not.
But she should not have to get down on her knees.
This ain't for you. This ain't no should. This ain't for should.
No.
You focused on this one knee thing. She could be sitting down face to face and still propose to him.
Nah, that's degrading to us.
No, it ain't. No, it ain't. You could be sitting at a 5-star restaurant. You could be at Morton Steakhouse right now.
Now we have Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey.
Well, okay. So you gonna get proposed to over some onion rings and cheese fries?
Some lemon pepper wings. Hey, you marry me?
They gonna hide it in the sauce.
And we both take a bite.
You take a bite, you break your teeth on the diamond. Oh my gosh.
What you mean? That's a ring pop. Talk about diamond in there. It's a ring. It's a ring pop.
So you getting married to Flavor Flav or something? Is that what you trying to tell me?
Listen, times are hard. The Rona's taking all the extra money right now.
Oh my gosh.
No, but you're right.
This girl's gonna get married with a Funyun.
Hey, listen, it's a ring, ain't it? A Krispy Kreme donut is technically a circle.
Oh my gosh. You're gonna have diabetes on your honeymoon.
Hey, listen, It's gonna be fun going out.
You're gonna be coming and going at the same time. Anyways, so with that aside, at the end of the day, to answer your question, the woman can propose to the man. Why
And she
not?
still chooses. So
Yeah,
choose.
exactly. It's a choice. If he want to propose, cool. If she want to propose, cool. It's the same thing. And a lot of women are gonna before y'all saints and super biblical women get involved and talk about he who finds a wife and all that
That's a
stuff.
good
No,
thing.
no, no,
Yes,
no, no, no,
yes,
no, no, no,
sir.
no, no. Because
That's
here we
right.
go. Because I'm about to shut that whole argument down.
No, you're not.
Because because it said he who finds a wife. If you are the wife and you find him, do y'all not find each other? If he finds a wife, does she not then find a husband? It is the exact same thing. If you find a wife, that means she, the wife, found a husband. So if he finds a wife, finds a good thing, and it's a good thing because it's in the Bible, then her finding a husband is a good thing. Let me get out. Sign this off. I'm done.
You see how people just take the Bible and just misconstrue it.
No, y'all misconstruing it.
No, the lightning is gonna hit you right in the temple.
No, it ain't because God know I'm telling the truth.
He don't know nothing
And the
about you.
effing truth.
He ain't never heard of you.
If he's finding a wife, it
He's
don't matter
finding
how
someone that he wants to marry.
it never said how he found it. It said he who finds a wife. He could have found her because she found him. It never
No,
says
he
how.
found her because he
He
seeked a
found
wife.
her. That's not what it says.
That's what it means.
It says he who finds a wife. It doesn't say how he found her.
Find it later for us ladies, and I'll break it down. I went to ministry school,
Go
okay?
ahead.
I know what it means.
What's up? I've been in school since I've been like 4 years old. I don't want to
I
hear
said
it.
ministry school. I didn't say school.
You went to art school.
No, I went to Bible school as well. I went to a lot of schools. I didn't graduate, but I went.
You went to art school.
I went to art
Stop playing.
school. I went to
Tupac.
Bible school. I went to a lot of schools. I just
Whatever.
didn't complete them.
I used to volunteer at Vacation Bible School.
What did you do?
Huh?
What did you do?
I was on the rec team. We did recreation for the kids and stuff.
You ain't helped them kids. You was in there eating all their Capri Suns and.
That's not rec, ma'am. That's a whole different department.
That is rec.
No, it ain't. The snacks was in the cafeteria. They had that was a whole different squad.
Oh, my rec was all the same. The same people that did snacks.
We was in charge of finding games and activities for the kids, and then coming up with ways to intertwine biblical lessons in with the games.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
Bougie
What's
Bill.
up? Yeah, what's up?
Bougie Bill.
What's
Y'all
up?
had separate people. We had the same staff do the games, the field trips, lunch.
Nah. Y'all was a grassroots church. We had the resources.
Yeah, I guess. So let us know below in the comments if you think a woman should. How are we phrasing this?
That's the question. That's what you said. We going off of your question. Should a woman be able to propose to a man? That was the
Should
question
a
you
woman?
proposed.
And if you think yes, say why. If you think no, say why. And if you feel like subjective to you, how you would feel, then you can also put that in the comments below too. Let us know if y'all like this setup. Sorry that we can't be together. Hopefully the audio is good so y'all can hear us, but we miss y'all. We love y'all. I've been eating too much.
Love, peace, and chicken grease.